What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm an addict, and my recovery date is July 13th of 2015, and I am on a medication called Suboxone. I started out on 8 milligrams and topped out at 12 milligrams, and I am currently at 2 milligrams a day. I take 1 milligram in the morning and 1 milligram in the evening. So that's my little introduction. Before we get into this video, if you guys do not mind, please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, you're getting over. Come on, hit the subscribe, stick it out with me. Y'all know, I'm here for the long haul. You're not going to get rid of me, so you might as well subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell, because it will notify you, hopefully, of all the times that I go live. I do go live every single night at 7 p.m. I have currently started a new routine, just so everybody knows. I go live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. for a nightly meditation, and Sundays back at it again at 7. So you can catch me here every single night of the week. So don't feel like you're alone, or there aren't options out there for recovery support during this difficult time, okay? And I want to welcome all my new subscribers. We hit 4K, and that's a huge milestone for me, you guys. I never in a million years thought that I would hit 100 people on my channel. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys. Each one of you guys is so important to me, and you mean a lot to me, and I want to help as many people as I can. That is the purpose of my channel. I created this channel because I could not find support for me, a person who is on maintenance medication. Okay, I was in AA, I was in all kinds of recovery groups online, and I could not find a group that was a strong group that believed in harm reduction and maintenance medication and did not judge and was open-minded. There was nothing like that 5 years ago. And so I started my channel 2 years ago because of the lack of support, and since starting my channel, it has been a miracle. Of all the people that have found me, and all of you guys that tell me that you're sharing my channel at your clinics, methadone clinics, Suboxone clinics, I mean, you guys, that's amazing. And I want you to know that that is the reason why I started my channel, because I wanted people that were like me, who were on maintenance, to have a place where they felt safe to share, where they could come and they could relate and talk with somebody else. So I'm kind of going to take this back. Some of you guys might think this is repetitive, that have been a part of my channel for a long time, but there's a lot of new people, so I want to kind of share this with you guys. So I want to talk about why I got on Suboxone, how I got on Suboxone, what was going on. First, it's really important for you guys to know that I had been trying to get sober since I got out of prison. Okay, I got out of prison in 2010, and that's when I really gave it my all. I got out of prison and I paroled to a halfway house in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I lived there for a year. The first 9 months I lived there, I was in the halfway house itself, and I was kicking ass and taking names. I had a sponsor. I was working the 12 steps. I was doing really well. And then I moved over to the apartments next door, and within that month of moving, I ended up relapsing and getting back on methamphetamine, and I started shooting oxys. I had always abused opiates, but my big thing was snorting pills and taking a bunch of, I was abusing methadone pills. So, and I will link my video about opiates, and I'll link my video about methamphetamines up here in the cards, and I'll also link it down in the description and the comment section, so you guys can check that out. But I had been in my active addiction since I was 17, 18 years old. So I had been abusing opiates and methamphetamine. I got caught for possession of a controlled substance, went to prison, paroled out, and really that was the first time that I can remember like really giving it my all and like staying sober for a substantial amount of time. So I ended up relapsing, and of course shit went downhill quick. I lost everything. I got kicked out of the halfway house, and I met my husband a couple years after that. It was in 2012 when I met him, and of course we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And I remember when I met him, I was like, damn, this is my knight in shining armor, because he was just so kind, so loving, and he wanted to help me, and I wanted to be helped. I wanted to get better. Little did I know that he was an addict too. So we ended up getting together, you guys, and we were just strung out together. And we tried to get sober many times together, but it just never worked. And in 2014, I gave birth to my son in July of 2014. And I'm so ashamed of this, you guys. I was pregnant, and I got high the whole time I was pregnant on methamphetamine. I gave birth to my son, and I was under the influence, and I'm so grateful that my son was okay. I thank God every day that my son was okay and that he made it out and didn't have any complications or anything. He's perfect. He's perfect. He came out, and I said, I'm getting sober. I've got to change my life. And I stopped using drugs, and I stopped, and I just stopped. I didn't go to meetings. I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't get into therapy, nothing. And I stayed sober for about 3 months while I breastfed my son. And after about 3 months, I relapsed on Xanax, and that Xanax took me right back out to my oxys and my methamphetamine that I loved. And so when I relapsed, my husband relapsed also, and we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. So we were both relapsed, trying to take care of this little baby. Thank God, we lived with my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law was taking care of my son. It wasn't me, it was her. In July of 2015, 1 year later, exactly 1 year later, 2 days before my son's first birthday, Child Protective Services came and knocked on my door. And I didn't answer because I didn't know. I must have been high or something. They came back again, and I didn't answer. I did not know. They just left a note that time. The second time they left a note. So when I got that note, I freaked the fuck out because I knew what was going down. So I called them, and that's when they advised me and told me that I needed to come up to their office with my child and take a drug screen. Knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have done that. But back then, I had no idea what to do. I was scared. I was on drugs, and I didn't know what to do. So I took my son, and I went up to their office, and I took a urinalysis, and I failed for benzos and opiates. The worker then advised me and told me, that if I had failed for meth in the state of Arkansas, they automatically remove your children. So I was very fortunate that I didn't fail for meth, because I had been doing it, and I think I had just had about 3 days of sleep and was probably going to start doing it that day, but they came by. And so she told me that she would be by my house to test Neil, and that, they would be in contact with me. Well, they came to test Neil that evening, and he failed for benzos and opiates also. And they sat us down, and they told us that they weren't going to take Nathaniel, that they were going to put an order of protection in, and that we would have to complete parenting classes, this, that, and the third. And so I was thankful for that. I was thankful that they weren't going to just take him. They came back the next day, and they told me that they changed their mind and that they had to take my son from me. You guys, it doesn't matter how high I was. Like, I knew that my son was going to have to go to some stranger's house. And I knew that what I had been doing was wrong. I just didn't know how to stop. And I had tried. I really had tried, you guys. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to convince you. I know y'all know what I mean. So they took Nathaniel, and that day I went into treatment. I stayed in detox for 6 days, and then I went into residential treatment. Now, while I was in residential, me and Neil both had a bunch of court dates to attend for DHS, and I was having my husband bring me Xanaxes because honestly, I was stressed out. I wanted to get high and I was freaking out. And so he was bringing me Xanaxes. There's no excuse for it. It's what was happening though, and I have to be honest. He kept bringing me Xanaxes and they finally caught me. I got caught, and they didn't throw me out, but they sure did scare me. And I ended up sobering up those last 2 weeks I was in treatment. And when I finally graduated treatment, I left with 14 days clean and sober. My husband picked me up and I was jonesing. I wanted to get high. That's the only thing I knew, is how to shoot dope. And I didn't know how to take care of my son. I didn't know how to be a wife. I didn't know how to be a good parent. Nothing. All I knew was drugs. And so when Neil picked me up, that's when he told me he had gotten on Suboxone. And I was really upset because I knew people that were on Suboxone that were shooting it, and it wasn't helping them. And I had taken Suboxone before, but I was using it in between getting high. So, like, I didn't have a very good idea of what Suboxone was really about. But I knew that I needed to stay sober, because if I didn't, I was going to lose my son. And so I went to meet with my doctor and my caseworker for DHS. And that's when we all decided that I would get on Suboxone. And I got on Suboxone with 14 days clean, and it made me tired. I fell asleep that first day I was on it. And then after about 48 to 72 hours, I felt completely normal. The desire to want to get high had totally left. And so I thought, maybe this is going to help me. But I had heard so many people say that I had to have a sponsor, and I needed to work the steps, and I needed to have a spiritual awakening, and I had to do therapy, and I knew that I needed to do some extra things just besides take Suboxone. So I got into therapy, and I started working the 12 steps with a sponsor, and that really helped me. And I had that spiritual awakening and the desire to use any drug or any alcohol. I haven't had that like obsession in years. But I'll tell you this, I know it could be tomorrow, and I could wake up and I could have a bad day and I could go out and pick up. I practice every single day working on my sobriety and making sure that I stay focused, you know, and that's why I do these groups and these meetings with you guys, because it helps me stay sober. So that Suboxone, when I got on it, I got on 8 milligrams, and it was okay. But I was still struggling. Like, I felt like my mind was telling me I needed more. And so my doctor bumped me up to 12 milligrams. So I took 8 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. And that was perfect for me. And I stayed on that for about 3.5 years. 3.5 years of intense addiction counseling, intense therapy, step work, and just staying focused on doing the right thing. And I finally, after 3.5 years, started getting the itch that I wanted to taper. Now, in between that time, you guys, I had been judged, I had been ridiculed, I had been made fun of, I had been told that I had no business sharing my story because I wasn't sober. I had been told that I'm not in recovery, and that why was I even talking, I needed to get off of Suboxone, that I'm basically doing heroin. Yeah, I've heard it all. But you know what? I don't give a damn what anybody else says, and that's why I'm here to help you guys. That's why I'm here to share my story about being on maintenance medication and how I've overcome that judgment and ridicule, and how that's what I do. I focus on giving back and helping others, and that's more rewarding, and I don't have to worry about what anybody else thinks about me, because I know I'm doing what's right today. So 3.5 years went by, and I started tapering. I started tapering last year. So it's been a year that I've been on my taper. And I started tapering, and I'm down to 2 milligrams currently. And I'm chilling right now, because this whole quarantine thing has got me kind of, you know, I'm just a little overwhelmed. Sometimes I'm stressed a little bit of depression. But I'm so fucking proud of myself. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if somebody says, you know, I thought Suboxone was amazing too, but then da-da-da-da. Listen, you guys, I am here because this has worked for me. Maintenance medication saved my life. And if I don't ever get off of it, I'm still so proud of myself. And that shouldn't take away anything from me. I've still overcome so much, and so have you. Don't let anybody else's judgment talk you into making a decision that you're not ready to make. Take your time while you're on Suboxone. Really work hard on changing your behaviors. Really work hard on doing the right thing, and just take it slow. It doesn't matter how long you stay on Suboxone. If you do a proper taper and you taper low and slow, you will be okay. Okay? Everybody is different. We have to remember that. Just take your time, don't rush, and when you're ready, you'll know. That's why I'm chilling at 2 milligrams, because I know, you know what? I'm not ready. I need to slow down a little bit. I need to focus on making some changes in my life, getting my health back together, losing some weight, getting more confident, and then maybe I'll pick that taper back up, you know, after the coronavirus leaves, after we get our world goes back to normal, you know. But these are things that I have to hear. I have to hear these things on my channel all the time. People comment these things. Does it hurt my feelings? No. Does it bother me? Sometimes it bothers me a little bit, because I think that people don't understand that I know I am sitting here in my own body on Suboxone, and I know exactly what I feel and how I feel. And all I know is that I've never in my life not been shooting drugs in my arms. I've never had a home without missing a payment. I've never had a car without wrecking it. I've never had a child without losing it to CPS until now. I've never been in a relationship that was healthy until now. I've never loved myself until now. And all these things are things that happened because I got on medication, I got stabilized, I got into therapy, and I got to work. Am I telling you that you have to work a 12-step program to get sober and stay sober? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to do something. You have to change your life. If you don't change anything, then nothing's going to change. Okay? For those of you that say, I hate the 12 steps, I'm never going to do them, I'm not trying to make you do them. In fact, I have transitioned from the program of Alcoholics Anonymous into the program of MARA, which is Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous. And I'm just waiting for MARA to finish up publishing their big book, and then we are going to work through that together here. All the things that I learned from MARA, I'm going to teach to you guys here, and we're going to go through this journey together, you know. But this channel and my life is what we share here. Is I share my life and my journey with maintenance medication and staying sober. And I want this to be a place where anybody can come and be comfortable. I want you, if you're on maintenance, to feel comfortable. If you're abstinent, you can come here and hang out too. Just remember that there's people here that are utilizing a maintenance medication. And I think it's really easy for people that are abstinent to say things flippantly and not think before they speak. You know, just because I'm on maintenance doesn't mean I don't work just as hard as somebody that's not on maintenance. Okay, I've worked my ass off every single day to stay sober and to be consistent. All right, you can see it right here in my channel, the work that I put in every single day. And so that's why I got on Suboxone. That's how I got on Suboxone. And that's the reason why I've stayed on Suboxone for as long as I have, because I've needed it and because it shouldn't matter. And if you're somebody who needs to utilize maintenance for the rest of your life, that is your decision. Everyone is different. Nobody should tell anybody what they should be doing. Okay, I don't care how long you've been sober, you guys. It's none of your business how long somebody else is utilizing a maintenance medication, and you shouldn't really be concerned about it. Just like I'm not concerned about what medications somebody else is taking. All I'm worried about is what works for me. Now, when I help people and somebody comes to me for help, you know, if they're telling me that they're taking 50 Xanax bars a day and their life is falling apart, of course I'm going to tell them what I think we need to get you off of those. But I'm still not ever going to act like I'm a doctor. I'm going to say, let's get a hold of somebody. Let's get a hold of a doctor. Let's call Dr. B, see if he can help you with the taper program. Like, I know my boundaries and I know what I'm able to do. And so I'm always going to be here for you guys to give you good suggestions, shoot you straight, and help you where I can. But I want Real Talk Recovery, and I want all of you guys to know that, you know, maintenance medication is a huge part of my story, and I am a huge advocate for harm reduction and maintenance medication, and allowing the addict to pick and choose what they need to do to stay. If a person doesn't feel like they can do it through abstinence, then they should be given the option to get on a maintenance medication instead of having them out there relapsing and relapsing and relapsing and relapsing and risking their lives. That's what people, it's almost like you'd rather somebody relapse and have the potential of dying than them getting on a medication that could save their life. So that's my Suboxone story and how I got on it. For those of you guys that might not have known, I had 14 days clean and sober when I got out of treatment, and I wanted to get high so bad, and my son was in foster care, and I was miserable, and I was depressed, and I was crying every single day, and I didn't know how to live my life. And when I got on Suboxone, it gave me the opportunity to have enough to pause, to be able to say, I'm not obsessing over wanting to get high. I'm not jonesing out every single day. I actually want to do something. It helped me. It helped me to stabilize and to get my life back. And so that's why I don't believe in shaming any addict on whatever choice they choose. I don't believe in any of that. I think it's important for us to stay open-minded and support one another no matter what our journey is. So, yeah. I just wanted to tell y'all that story. I felt like I needed to talk about it here on my channel. I think I had saw some comments, and maybe people didn't know my whole story or how I've come so far or where I started at. You know, I started out not being able to keep a needle out of my arm, and I lost my son. And the consequences were, if you relapse, you are not going to get your son. He will go into foster care. Your rights will be terminated. And so I made the best decision I knew how to make for me. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you see somebody that's on Suboxone and you're not, encourage that person. Let them know you're proud of them for making the right choice for them. And you know what? If you're somebody that's on Suboxone, don't be ashamed to share your story. Fucking sing it from the rooftops. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. And if you want to come on here and share your story, I got you covered. Bring it. I love you guys. I hope you have a great night. And I just needed to share that. All right, bye.